Who do you got for this card? Off the top of my head right now, Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje. Who do you got?
I look at fighters into is like whether I like him as an individual
Yeah.
or whether I like him as a skilled fighter,
Hmm.
right? I'm not a big fan of Ferguson, but he's a fantastic fighter.
I equally.
Creative, on the very creative and when you create that much chaos and unpredictability when you
I see.
fight,
I see.
oof, man, it's like live by the sword, die by the sword kind of mentality because he takes a lot of risks, but it hasn't caught up with him yet, right? And
I
he
think the
causes a
craziest
lot
thing.
of chaos. He causes a lot of havoc, and then it just throws fighters off. And and he's proven over and over again that stuff like I've even mentioned before, like you need to develop your cardio and your physical attributes first. That should be like super important. And then right along there is your skill set, right? Your technical abilities. But
It
man,
seems like he's very much so very
you
specific.
can
He's
be
a very
you can
physical
have
person.
the most powerful right hand in the world, but if your cardio is garbage, then you know what I mean. So
Mm-hmm.
he's a cardio machine, man, and he's found an intelligent way to win fights where he knows that his elbows cause a lot of damage, and he's focused on that a lot. You can see that in his fights. He tries to land them often from all angles, and he just bloodies people up. And when and the thing is, there's a lot of psychology that goes into fighting as well. So when you take a nasty cut, right, and all of a sudden you're bleeding all over your face, your gloves, you're eating some of your own blood, like you're tasting some of your own blood, it starts to mess with your head, you know what I mean? And he just bloodies people up right away. And
Have you been cut in a fight yourself? I'm curious just because I've never had the experience at all. Like I've never actually had to
um
participate like, even in sparring or anything like that.
in sparring, but never like not in fights, no. But in
Fair enough.
sparring I have, yeah.
Because I remember Dominic Cruz even talking about that in
Small
some
stuff, small stuff.
freaks out. He freaked out in
Small
the loss against Cody. Small. Okay, I see. I see.
small stuff. Nothing like that I needed stitches on or anything like that.
Mhm.
Been lucky that
I went
way.
on a tangent. I went on a bit of a tangent there. No, but please continue with that. So that's your take on Tony. What about Justin Gaethje?
He's one of those like if you're a fight fan, you can't help but like this guy because
Yeah, dude, just
yeah,
lead, man.
again,
Like, come
he
on.
just he just you know he just goes out there and gives it his all, and you gotta respect that. I just wish he was a little bit more strategic with his fight style because you know I think it seems to be very like typical of wrestlers, like they just fall in love with punching people in the face and then they forget about the fact that they're really high level wrestlers.
Yeah, yeah.
And that there's almost like they forget that they have another element that could give them, a path to victory other than trying to punch somebody in the
Stand and
face.
bang, 100%. Yeah.
So it's hilarious to me, and I think it comes from the mindset where these guys understand. Keep in mind, like there's so much that goes into this that maybe the average person doesn't think about or is not aware of. But remember, wrestlers, they're according to their rules, they only I think have 2 3 minute rounds. So 3 minutes, you go
Okay.
hard as you can, and you go as fast as you can, as hard as you can. You give it everything you got. You see wrestling, man, it is a grind. And then they go. They get their score. They get okay, and then they have 1 minute break, and they go for round the second round, the same thing, go, and then they have a point system, obviously. But when they go into MMA, and now you have 5 minute rounds, 5 minute rounds, wrestling they started to realize that wrestling at that super high pace it gets you
It's not
tired.
sustainable. It's not
It's
sustainable.
not
And it's
sustainable,
just
right? And then so they've become a little bit more reserved with their wrestling, and they've again they realize they're athletic, they're powerful, and they can hurt people by punching them, right?
yeah.
And you see it all the time. These high level wrestlers when they connect, man, like Tyron Woodley comes to mind.
Yeah.
When that dude, like, and even Usman, guy again may not be the best striker, but he hurt. What's his name? His last fight, right?
Colby Covington?
Yeah, man,
Yeah, yeah.
dislocated his jaw, or whatever. And even like Khabib, like he dropped
Yes.
Connor, man. He dropped Connor. So
On paper, Connor's the better striker, right?
these guys have
But
power, man. They have power. The only difference between Khabib and these other guys is like he knows my path to victory, and that's I cannot wrestle anybody, you know. So, and that's the thing. I wish they would take some of Khabib's lead. Like if you're a super high level wrestler, you should be taking like Khabib's blueprint. You know, take people down,
it's
maul them until they gave up. They get
constant mat return.
eventually they give up position and you choke them out, right? So.
Like,
But,
we're getting a little bit. So I want you to make a decision.
so
Of
I
who's
like
winning.
both
Go to-
guys. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's a hard one. But if I had to pick someone, I would pick because if it's like die by the sword, live by the sword, die by the sword kind of mentality, then I have to pick Ferguson on this. Yeah, I have to because like when he's been hurt plenty of times, but people can't finish him. Where
It's true, yeah.
Gaethje's been hurt, and you know he's
been
when he's been
finished.
hurt, he's been finished, or he's lost fights when he got hurt. So
I
if I
love
had
the Poirier fight, but it was heartbreaking to see that finish. Yeah.
yeah, right. So a great fight, by the way, good fight.
Mhm.
That was an awesome fight.